My name is Hilary Carpenter, and I am the nominee for the DOC Ombuds. I have spent the bulk of my career working in the Public Defender's Office, working with thousands of clients who would not otherwise have legal representation. I applied for this position because I care deeply about people who are incarcerated, and I'm confident that my familiarity with the corrections system will serve me in this role as I provide an independent voice for Connecticut's people in prison and on parole. I want to thank the advocates in this room for their tireless efforts to establish this role as an independent office. The fact of this office being independent will give the Ombuds vital oversight authority and provide people who are incarcerated with critical advocacy and support that does not currently exist. The fact of my nomination has caused advocates and legislators consternation, as I've heard concerns that my career as a public defender will hinder my ability to adequately serve this position. These concerns have been voiced by people in this room and people outside of this room. I share their concerns that there isn't equitable access to the level of legal defense that cases require. I want to thank the advocates for highlighting the critical role the public defenders can play in deciding cases. And I hope that the Office of the Ombuds will be able to advocate for greater access to legal representation by Connecticut's poor and disadvantaged communities so that these experiences are not repeated. I have represented thousands of people throughout my career and have helped many reduce their sentences, avoid prosecution, avoid incarceration. I've contributed to the state's reduced recidivism rate by helping my clients reintegrate into their communities. As I speak to you today, there are clients waiting for me right now, back at the courtroom, back at the courthouse, that are incarcerated, that need my help right now today. And I will be leaving shortly to do that. I'm incredibly proud of my career, and I'm incredibly proud to be counted among the many talented public defenders in this state. Some of them are present today, and I'm grateful for their presence. I will reiterate that I would not have applied for this position if I did not care deeply about Connecticut's justice-involved population and the families and communities that love them. This press conference was called to ensure that there is transparency and integrity in the Ombuds selections process, and I'm very glad that the people in this room care so much about the selection process. I recognize that this office is incredibly important to everyone here, and that it is vital that the Ombuds be selected through a fair and transparent process. But I also want to take the opportunity to address the concerns that the actions of the legislators on the Executive and Legislative Nominations Committee lacked integrity and transparency. And I can only tell you from my perspective. On March 12th, the Executive and Legislative Nominations Committee held a vote on my nomination after a public hearing in which some of the advocates here voiced their concerns about my nomination. I wish to clarify that those concerns were not based on my record as a public defender, but rather my background, not my record as a public defender, was enough cause for concern that advocates here opposed my nomination. This vote resulted in a tie. In his remarks on the resolution, Senator Duff stated that he shared the concerns of the advocates and highlighted the importance that the Ombuds meet and build relationships with the advocacy community. Over the ensuing 2 weeks, I met with legislators on the committee to address their concerns and answer any questions that they had. I was pleased to receive the support of the majority of the committee members when a motion to reconsider was passed on the 26th. In addition, with meeting with legislators, immediately after the hearing, I met with and engaged with members of the advocacy community, including members of Stop Solitary. I want to thank everyone here for highlighting some of the most important issues for this office to address, and I hope to continue working with you to build relationships and earn your trust in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, you can ask a question.
Okay, so as someone
like, didn't have a plan to hit the ground running out of all 3 candidates. I'd like to know how you're going to address that.
How I'm going to address the learning curve for understanding DOC's
Correct.
policies.
If you go through the testimony for all 3 candidates, you were the only candidate without a 100-day plan once you went through. I'd like to know how you're going to address that. You had the steepest learning curve out of all 3 candidates.
Okay. Well, I have been working as a public defender for 18 years and have been dealing on a case-by-case basis with my clients with their issues with DOC. So I do have that institutional knowledge. And in fact, I have to run back to court right now to help my clients that are incarcerated today deal with some of the issues that they're facing right now.
Have you spoken to any of your incarcerated clients to find out who they would prefer?
I've not had that specific conversation with my clients, no. But I have heard from many clients of mine that are past and present that are very happy and
Happy
pleased.
about a both person or happy that you are going to be
Both,
possible?
yes. Thank you. I do really need to get back to court.
I got one, real quick. Have you sat down and thought about what you're gonna do about recidivism and about sexual assault and, as far as being in prison? I'm a survivor from being sexually assaulted in DOC. Have you come up with a plan about that? I would like to know.
Well, it's certainly something I want to address. You know, I've said over and over again that healthcare is, one of my #1 priorities, but safety is right up there with healthcare, and sexual assault is part and parcel of that. So I don't have those things in front of me right now to discuss, but it is certainly an issue that needs to be addressed right away.
Is it something that you would be willing to sit down and talk to survivors from sexual assault in DOC about?
Absolutely. And if I am appointed, that is going to be what I do. At this point, I have a duty to my clients, and I am going to wrap that up with them so that I can get to work on this.